I'm Jase Cowie. I run GDR 440 in the OG 275 at Kenda 660.
He's the new king of the king. You're there now, and this is Radio Racing Kenda style. You're bumping in here with Diggs, another Kenda 660 interview, and I've got to get this guy on because OG 275, I mean, it's a class we've only been running for a little while, but boy, do we get some tough cars on a 460 Ghost Index. This guy, Jase Cowie, OG 275, what is it about this class that's just turns these cars up in numbers like you wouldn't believe?
Probably the friendship and the point of the cars. They're sort of nearly at the top level. It's sort of balancing in the middle. You got a car that can go to the top level, but you just sort of balancing on that seesaw, you know. Yeah.
Well, I think, again, back to fixed index stuff, I think it allows people to be able to find somewhere to race and make it their own. And then ghost indexes of a thing we've brought in, obviously, to when you do get a little bit too quick, get to the pointy end of that you've still got somewhere to go. I mean, in your case, it'd be like, I suppose Outlaw would be probably where you go. But, of course, OG's about basically the street cars on the biggest steroids. Is that probably the best way to describe it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I like to think of my car as a street car at the pointy ender. So if I went to the Outlaw class, that's probably another 100 grand.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? It sort of, I feel it takes it away from that street carriage if we go to the Outlaw sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm happy to keep it where it is.
Look, I am too, and I think a lot of people are, because it's like probably the old days if we want to reminisce about things like, you know, what was it, X275? What did we have back then? The 850, which started as an 850 thing. Once the index was there, people sort of built cars to get to it. This is the same with OG. The 460, I suppose, has just meant that, yeah, anyone quicker can go in there. And of course, you threw a 54 in there last night.
It's been a 52, and we were thinking maybe in the test days we could have snuck into a 40, but we sort of had a few issues on first test day. The last pass last night was probably a little bit of a mistake. We thought we weren't going to go that quick, but yeah, it just eats.
Your car's like a lot of OG 275 cars, is that these things, Nelly, are all nearly the price of admission. I see your car come up and you just want to tell everyone, folks, watch this car. If it's on the money, it's worth watching, because it's not just you. And again, when you're looking for the left-hand front wheel that's not touching the ground for 660 feet, and that's you trying to steer not even on one tyre.
Yep.
But it's all out. There's other great cars. Again, you know, they've got a pretty serious rear end in them, but there's still a lot of street-based stuff. So we're seeing power wheelies, we're seeing all sorts of things in that class. I'm excited about all the classes, but something about OG 275, and then when you look at what we have in Queensland, and then you look at what happens when we go to Sydney, and then you've got, of course,
Victorians, Matty Turnbull,
and then God knows what we're going to have when we go to the Bend.
Yeah.
But that's going to be big, and I think we're going to throw a bit of a shootout for the OGs down at the Bend. Is that something that you would consider going down to do?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Everything in the team is a team decision, so we've just got a few things we've got to talk about before we can commit to it. But
it's a logistical
we
thing.
really want to do it, but whether we can all get there, and we don't do it if we all can't be there. So
I'm going to go back a little bit just to last night, right? You and Matty turn up together. It was the first time I think you both bumped in against each other since Sydney. Since that moment in Sydney, I'll set the scenario up. You both won 2 rounds, is that right?
That's right.
So we had Matty Turnbull and Jase, 2 from 2. They have to race each other in round 3.
Yep.
Obviously, whoever won that race was probably going to go to the final,
Yep.
3 from 3.
Yep.
So him and Matty bump in one, and this falls right into Sengi's lap about his love for turbo cars and the bump box.
Bump the rock.
But can you take us to that moment when both top bulbs were on? Because I can't remember how it all went after that.
I can't remember either.
And
Because
you put it out of your mind, it's
at
gone?
the end of it, it just went. I actually went up to Matty. He was sitting in the car still 10 minutes after. His crew said, just leave him alone because don't talk to him. I basically got him out of the car, gave him a hug and said, we'll sort out next round.
Yeah, so he was cool with that.
Yeah.
So I can't remember, was it him that shot off and you followed him? I can't remember because that's called the Phantom. I invented that phrase.
Yeah, I think he dropped it, I followed. So
the Phantom Amber, where, and again, let's check the pulse of every turbo driver out there on the top bulb. Nitrous guys are 60 beats a minute going into the second bulb. Turbo guys are 160 beats a minute because the cars are just more dramatic.
Yep.
So you're bumping, Turnbull's bumping, and then you go bulb, and then bottom bulb flicker.
Yep.
And he's gone.
That whole thing saying he was talking about the rock.
The rock.
Yep.
And then
it plays with your brain.
And then you just went, I'm late.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought?
That's it. Yeah. Exactly.
Yep. You thought you were late.
Yeah, because you just wait for that orange, and anything that disturbs your vision, I think, it just upsets you. So
it's an intense moment. Like this is why I think we're all addicted to what happens there, because that is, out of anything, the ride. Hey, the ride is adrenaline.
Yeah.
The ride is adrenaline, but I think one part of that adrenaline before the ride is that bit. It's the engaging. It's the engaging of your opponent.
Where are you? You're looking after him. Yeah. We're both in together. We're working together there. But after that, it's all.
I mean, with everything you've got to do between rounds to put your tune up and you go, right, this should work. And then it's that one little thing you got to get out of the way before you race, and that stage the damn thing.
Oh yeah.
And how many times have we seen that go wrong for people?
Yep.
And again, if we run the statistics, yes, it's 98% turbo cars doing that. But that's only because everyone takes it so seriously.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, they want to get in and they want to leave on time.
That's right.
Yeah. And you know, you guys are not the first. You won't be the last. But getting back to what you said about getting Matty out of the car and just saying, listen, mate. And it's not like you guys ran around and said, we want a rerun. We you know. You both knew, because he obviously wanted it as bad as you, is that you both basically, I mean, you copped it sweet, he eventually copped it sweet, but then for you to both say, we're copping it, and of course that changed how the night finished.
That's right. Yeah. He apologised to me. There's nothing to apologise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And since then, we're good mates. We talk
is that good?
On the Facebook. We're looking forward to this weekend, and so.
And then you bumped in against each other last night, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
No Phantom Ambers last night.
No, definitely not. So.
Well, Jase, it's been an absolute pleasure. OG275, it's a class that's just, every time we get to a Kenda, right around the country, I could nearly name, if you were to take a car like yours, and the ones that we know are in Queensland, and then you know the ones that are in New South Wales and Victoria and South Aussie, we've got to have 100 of them. I'm sure there's 100 of those cars.
And they're all quality. Like this weekend, like 60s, 70s, 80s, where, you know, you sort of were looking, there's a bunch of 5.0 cars type thing. Now they're all, the field's tightening up.
And I even touched on it last night. I'm looking at guys go 480 like, Trent went 460, but even Lee down here going 81, 83, 84, and thinking, look, he's not a 460 car tonight, but you know what it's like in racing. You get a whole shot on a 460 car. You can still be competitive. You'll win that by thousandths of a second with a 480 if you're on the game, but just goes to prove that any of these Kenda 660 categories, you can still be nearly 2/10 off the pointy end, and you know you're in with a chance.
That's right.
Well, I can't wait to see that Torrey again. It's worth the price of admission every time the thing bumps in. OG275 is going to be a fantastic class. Jay, thanks very much.
Good man. Thanks, Diggs.
Thank you. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
We got a bump city one more time. And he's the new king of the king. You'll be there now, and this is Radio Racing Kenda style.